And here we are. Probably some of the highest level TvZ we're going to see all week. It's Clem. It's Dark. And it's, oh, we're in for a good one here. Of course, whoever wins this series, they have the honor, the privilege of running into Trigger in that finals. But they're already in the money. They're already in the EPT points. Let's get that green screen going again. There we go. All right. All good. But of course, as we get into this series, we get into this cast, I would like to remind you all that if you like this and you want more StarCraft content like this, I upload videos 7 days a week. At least I try to. It happens more often than not on YouTube. So you should, and Stormgate content, if you want to know the best news and analysis and everything that's happening around that game, the spiritual successor to StarCraft, you should like this video. You should let me know who you think wins, because you're liking it and commenting right now. And you should subscribe to the channel, because then you won't miss anything. And also, I stream on Twitch a couple days a week, so twitch.tv/Beowulf. I'll see you there. In fact, we're watching me right now, and if you're watching me right now, drop a follow, why don't you? As we take a look at what is happening in this first game in our series, it's a Reaper Expand. I don't think that surprises anyone all that much. I mean, this is Clem. I think I could realistically, if I was a betting man, Clem is one of those players that I would say, okay. He's going to go Reaper Expand into Hellion Banshee. And that is going to be what he does 7 out of 10 games. The other, a couple, he might go for the Beyond 2 Racks idea, but rarely. But other than that, this might be a 2-1-1. Or actually, other than that, I guess it's going to be, well, yeah, other than that, it would be a 2-1-1, because Hellion Banshee is kind of a 3cc play as Clem dives on top of these Lings and he actually gets a lot of pressure down. And actually, the Reaper doesn't take a lot of damage at all. So heavy pressure coming out of Clem here prior to the Queen. But now he's just going to sit on the edge of creep, right? Deny creep tumor as much as you can. And actually, it's going to force the transfuse out in the natural, which, hey, that's solid, right? Yes, it's more production for Dark early, but it means this creep spread will not be able to get started nearly as fast, nearly as quickly as Dark would like. And actually, third base delayed just a little bit too, 36 instead of 32. It's a small thing. It is not a big thing. Like, it is force supply. That is not that significant, but at these high levels, it's more than you would expect. So now behind this, Starport, done. Tech Lab on the way. And what did I say? Hellion Banshee play. Look at it. Banshee. Banshee. There we go. I've talked to Steadfast about this a little bit, and I tend to agree. You need, like, it feels like Clem needs to up his series planning. Like, Clem's TvZ is incredible. It's not even his best matchup anymore, but it's still very, very good. I mean, look at this. Look at this matchup right now. Say 70% form, fine. Actually, I think Dark 2-0s this. That's interesting. But more importantly, he does the same thing over and over and over again. And if you are the best player in the world, you can do that. At 2019, Cyril won Katowice off of doing the same thing over and over again, and no one being able to really deal with it, no one really being able to respond to it. But the level is elevated since then. There's a lot more parity in this game, so I do feel like we need to see Clem start to implement more interesting builds into his repertoire. Even if those builds don't win, they force your opponent to play safer. They force your opponent to not play quite as greedy. And if you're playing again, I mean, Dark is an insanely greedy player if you give him the chance. So for now, let's see what happens. Banshee on the right side, cloak done in 5 seconds. And the Baneling Nest just about done here for Dark as well. But this is a defensive Baneling Nest, right? There is no, excuse me, there is a lair, but now there's no Overseer. Well, there actually is an Overseer. The Queens were just running away for really no solid reason. 2 workers fall, and Clem just, that's all he's going to get for now. 2 dead workers and a solid scout, but now Baneling speed is on the way. More drones because the first pressure kind of dropped. Clem dives in, gets another worker. That's nice. And the big deal about this is we're 5:30 in. There's no 4th base. Yeah, would that be fairly early? Absolutely. Yeah, you know, 4th base generally closer to a 6-minute thing. But into 3cc play, into Hellion Banshee like this, it does feel like it's something that you can get away with if you're Dark. And then getting that quicker fourth is, yeah, it's more money, but it's more larva. It's more production. And especially as Dark is playing this Lingbane heavy style, getting onto 5 hatches as quick as possible is a really nice idea. So now we see a drone rotating on over to the 4th base. It's going to get popped up pretty soon. Nice target fire there on the Queens, and really no kills on these Banshees. They're not getting all that much. Queen's in good position here as well. So the Banshees, they continue to get zoned out. Clem just not finding value. And now 1-1 upgrades for Dark are timed out pretty much the same as Clem, despite Dark getting those, despite Dark starting that Evo chamber very late in this game. He got a Baneling Nest and he got a lair, then started the Evos. And even still, Clem, because this is Hellion Banshee, upgrades are delayed a little bit. You commit gas to Banshees and Cloak and all those wonderful things. So even still, the upgrades are going to be timed out rather well. 2 additional hatches, so we're going up to 5 hatch from Dark fairly quickly, and the Infestation Pit, because the entire point of this build for Dark is not to do anything right now. I mean, sure, it's nice if you can find some damage, but the entire point of this build is not to kill Clem right now, not to even get damage done right now. It's to get into Hive. It's to get into 3-3, but Lings get a great surround here. There are no medevacs, so that's a massive trade for Dark. Knocks out so many Marines. We don't have that, but we do have this. Actually, maybe not as good as I thought it was. But Dark dove on top anyways, and now, well, let's see how this goes. 1-1 done within 10 seconds of Clem, so Clem doesn't have a pushing timing off this one. Hive on the way, Burrow on the way, and that's the thing you really like to see, right? Just Burrow getting started. It costs Clem money. Is the long and short of it. At these high levels, you burrow Banelings on the map. It means Clem is going to have to be constantly scanning. It means he's not going to have energy for mules for the most part, and that is what, an extra 600 minerals a minute that Clem is not going to be mining as well as he would like. So it's just a really solid economic decision that Dark is making right now, even as, you know, he loses an Overlord, and this pressure from Clem is nice. There's not a lot of creep on the left side, but Dark doing Dark things. Dropper Lord finding its way in. Now, we don't have Overlord speed, so this is going to be the slowest Overlord drop that you've ever seen. It's going to take forever to find its way into the main. Even still, it's something that can distract Clem and just kind of keep him back and buy time for Vipers to pop out, and we don't have those yet. For Adrenal, for all these things. In fact, Dark has Hive. It's done, but he has not done anything with it. No Adrenal, no Vipers, nothing like that as Lings try to find their way into the main base, and, well, they're just going to burrow their way up behind things, so that's going to be pretty solid. Meanwhile, other side of the map here, that's a solid tank position. Dark just gives the base up. This base from Clem is too hard. It's far too hard for Dark to defend, so he's just going to expand elsewhere. That's fine. Takes the 5th base up. Seems like there might have been a drop on the right side that Dark dealt with for the most part, so that's fine. This pressure coming out of Clem. I mean, Clem is he 8 racks here? Yeah, okay. 8 racks coming in from Clem. He's got so much army. He's up 50 army supply. Here's the Lings and Banes are going to try to find their way in. Great connections from the Banes to start. But you got to wipe the army if you're going to take a wholesale trade like this. The army's not wiped yet. Tanks, still 4 of them just sitting there. Hellbat's at the front. We need to see more Banes, and we don't have them yet. Dark waiting for that 2-2, and in fact, he's going to have a really solid timing. 2-2 not done for Clem. It's not going to be done for a while, so Dark will have that upgrade lead for just a little bit here. Clem thinks about committing out of the Banes. He's not going to get it yet, and he needs to drop a scan, right? There is so much creep here, but he's got to spend the money, right? He needs the mules, and now 2-2 done in 3, 2, 1. Here's the fight coming in from Dark on the right side, spilling forward here. The tanks are going to fall immediately, and the Marines, they're cutting back. There's just not enough tanks. Good target fire there on the Banelings, and actually, Clem gets out of this one just a little bit. Can't deal with the Queens, though. Tanks will fall. Trying to save with the medevac, gets one. But even still, this is just one army, and Queens continue to fall here. It's an army on the right side. That's the big problem. That's the tremendous issue that Clem is just foisting upon Dark at this point. This is a dead base. Dark now solidly on 3 bases here. The base will fall, and Clem forced to pick up on the left side. So for the moment here, it's coming to bases for Clem. He's up 60 supply, and it really is all, actually, it's mostly an army. Clem has his 4th base on the way now. The one thing you gotta worry about is Ultras are now out in force, but they don't have upgrades. It's just 2-2 Ultras. There's no kindness plating. There's no 3-3. These Ultras are not nearly as tanky as they might otherwise be. Meanwhile, run by on the other side, just not getting much of anything here, and Clem continues to kite. Tanks getting damage done here. Ultras dying to Marines is never a good situation. His Banshees as well doing a pretty nice job. They will eventually go down, and this is not good enough for Dark. He's on 3 hatch, or he's on 3 bases, 4 hatch. Marines, yeah, they're gonna have to back up eventually, but Queens have died, and well, now other side. Here comes the counterattack, but I mean, just the Ultras are not good enough. Marauders are getting added in. They're gonna have 3-3 eventually. They don't have it now, but even still, it's just not good enough. So Dark just desperately fighting here. Unburrows the Lings into the 3rd base. Once again, tries to find something as more Ultras continue to rally on forward here. Clem's got a 5th base on the way. He's up 5 workers. He's up just about double the army supply. Big deal, though. The one thing that Clem's lacking, there's no Ghost Academy. There's nothing that allows him to technically deal with it, but it doesn't matter. Clem runs through. Dark realizes he's dead. He's on the ground, and game 1 goes the way of the young Frenchman. Clem, up 1. So let's see where we go now. It's Gressvan. It's the best map in the pool. It's also one of the biggest maps in the pool, and that means late games, that means macro, that means multi-throngs, that means all those wonderful things. So let's see whether Dark can hold on. Game 1 he couldn't. Game 2 though, it's a new day. It's a new dawn. So does Clem do anything different in this series? I don't think so. I mean, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Although that being said, Clem did not get a lot of value early. With the Banshees of 2 workers, really not a lot. And Dark was doing a really solid job of maybe he could have gotten his 4th base a little bit faster and started to kind of explode that way. But in general, Dark was just doing a really solid job of macroing up, of finding this value, of putting himself in a winning or in a advantageous position. And Clem just slaps him with A-Rags and says it's fine, you know? I'm gonna kill you anyways. So this actually is different. Well, no, it's not. Never mind. Still Reaper expand, Marine on the way. Just gotta keep yourself a little bit safe, you know? Ooh, is he gonna get a Ling? Gets a Ling. Well done, Clem. It is again, I'm just looking at this whether Clem does something different. I truly don't think he might do 3cc. He might do like the full 3cc play. So generally, you know, you go Hellion Banshee, and that's you get your 3rd base at like 5 minutes is kind of when that 4 minutes is right when that starts. You build it in the wall after the Banshees start to pop out, and it's solid, and it is a macro game, but it is, you know, pressure focused, tempo focused a little bit. Or you can go, you know, barracks command center effectively. Like you can get a third command center very quickly, but we're already past that timing. So there's a tech lab on the way. There's a starport on the way. Any guesses on whether the tech lab will be near the starport? Answer is yes. This is Hellion Banshee again. Clem doing the same thing again. And that means we're in for a treat. That means the game is going to go into the mid game. We're going to have fun. We're going to have adventure. We're going to have a solid game. I hope we're going to have a solid game at the very least. So Banshee on the way. Second question though is whether Dark decides to do something a little bit different. We saw quick Baneling Nest, quick lair, delayed upgrades. Even though still they were well timed compared to what was happening with Clem's build. But when I say delayed, I mean they were I Actually, I guess they weren't even that delayed, but they were slower than the lair, right? Is kind of the way you want to put that down. Do we see Dark do that again? Ooh, nice little move in here coming out of Clem. He's going to dive on top. He's going to get, what was that? Well, he gets an A drone. We've forced it back up just a little bit. Clem for right now, again, doing a pretty solid job. Knocking out, holding on to the creep as well as he can. It's never going to be perfect, but good enough. And just trying to slow things down. Meanwhile, third base going down, 430. It's a mirror image of game one. So then we're just going to have to keep our eye on the production tab, see if 3 barracks go down at once, right around that 6-minute mark, because there's no escape. I mean, he was going to go down low ground into creep anyways, but keeping that Reaper alive as long as possible is fairly nice. So for now, Banshee drops Cloak, but there are spores here. There are queens in position. He's going to get one worker before being forced down just a little bit. And there we go. Get a couple workers here, Clem. Nothing really all that significant. Lair on the way for Dark, but no Baneley Nest. He's kind of realized that Clem doesn't have an early aggressive bone in his body for the most part. There's no need for it. So for now, there's the Baneley Nest on the way as the lair is halfway done. Hellions continue to shark around, but short of dropping a scan, they can't deal with creeps that's already been spread. But let's see what happens here. This is Banshees and Hellions fighting together, and the lair's not done. This is actually a lot of damage. There's no spore. It's going to force a lot of energy off these queens, but it's 9 queens. Oh, no, he's not. He's going to get the queen. He's going to get the queen. One more transfuse, another transfuse. That's a lot of energy going down, and the queen still falls. That's actually a really solid move right there, so long as you don't lose the Banshee, which Clem loses the Banshee, and that doesn't feel all that great. Meanwhile, Hellions right side, they're going to poke and prod, but they're not going to get anything. Still 8 queens on the map. And Dark actually, he's got +1 attack, but his armor's a little bit slow because he got that infestation pit so quickly. So now, Baneley speed on the way, and there's the Carapace. So that's the timing we're looking at. But Clem actually, does he have E-base? He does, but I don't know when those E-base finish, but he has neglected his upgrades. And that actually might end up being rather important in this game as he's dropping the second factor. I think we can probably expect to see the 3 more barracks coming down sooner rather than later, but there we go. Okay. That's your 1-1. And Clem getting active on the map here. His upgrade timing is going to be a little bit slower than Dark's this time. Outside of, it's going to be 10 seconds. Probably it's not going to be that significant. 20 seconds, maybe. Not compared to the last game where it was like instantaneously, but I don't know that it's going to make that big of a difference. So for now, pressure at the front, deals with some creep, and then double drop into the main. But Dark's already there. They're Ling's in position. This initial pressure from Clem is not going to accomplish all that much. They're Hellions on the right side. I mean, that's pretty solid. He's going to knock down some creep. Actually, importantly, he's going to get a lot of active tumors, which is, pretty important. Meanwhile, pressure finds its way into the third. Target fire gets 1 Bane. He has to run on out of there. Okay. So we're still waiting for this game to open up. If that makes sense. In chess, they have this concept of theory versus a new game, right? So like the first 30 moves or so for a professional chess player is what's called theory. The optimal decisions are already known. The optimal openings, the optimal moves are already known. So it's kind of you want to talk about it, maybe an APM check. It's like being annoying with your worker in the early game against a mineral line. Something that's like, no one should make a mistake, but you might find an advantage, or you might win the game in the case of chess. And then once that 30th odd move, and all of a sudden you run out of theory. Actually, Magnus Carlsen is a little bit famous for going and making a small mistake, what is technically a small mistake, in the theory early on, because he is very confident in his new game state and his ability to kind of improv. So he wants to force the game to a new game as quick as possible, which is kind of ballsy. It's kind of cool. But for now, Clem is the one that's going to try to be a little bit ballsy here, a little bit cool here as he continues the pressure on the map. Tank moves forward. That is an exposed tank, and it's a massive surround coming on in from Dark. Widowmine is massive, though! All of a sudden, so many Baneley's fault. Even still, Clem is forced backwards here. And that's a bunch of army on the right side that is just marooned all the way. Meanwhile, Dark flooding forward on the other side. Marines are trapped. This might actually just end the game right here. Widowmines, though, are going to try to be a save, and it's just not going to be enough. STVs have to get pulled on out. Tanks fall. This is just a well, actually, is it? Hold the phone here. Hold that thought. Yes, there are Lings, and yes, there's Burrow, and yes, this is obnoxious. Only 8 workers died. Although, I mean, this is actually going to be... It's the follow-up, I think, that's going to be more problematic because Clem didn't know. He didn't see the burrow. He moved out on the map immediately. And now Dark, he's got 2 pretty solid aggressive options that he's going to sync up with this big army. So, Lings in the natural, Lings in the third, big army in front, and that actually is very scary if your name is Clem because you don't know about it. That being said, the rally is enough to deal with part of this here as the scan gets dropped. It covers everything, and even though... Oh, Dark... Clem. Dark. Clem! Distracted. Elsewhere, pushing on the left side is something, but it does mean that we talked about this. It's not the initial Ling run by, it's the unburrow that does so much more. Widowmine goes off. Is decent, but not great. Second one, friendly fire, but not enough to kill anything. Meanwhile, on the other side, 23 dead workers. This is the value. This is what Dark wanted. He wipes out an entire mineral line with like 8 Lings. It's ridiculous. But Clem continues to push regardless. His 2-2 is so far away from this game. He's fighting down 2 upgrades. Well, 1 upgrade, soon to be 2, soon to be 3, really, with +1 ranged. But he has to. He's taking too much damage. Even with this 4th base, he just feels compelled. He feels like he needs to find value. So up the ramp he goes. Once again, Liberators here. It's a little bit more value. Widowmines are decent, but let's see if Clem can take the fight here. Banelings have to get targeted down. He's not going to get him yet. Kiting backwards. Widowmine's dead. And this is Clem's opportunity. Running forward just a little bit more. Random Banshee. Banelings on the backside. Widowmines clean that up. And now Clem trying to make a miracle here. Up massively in army supply. Lings on the surround. The upgrades are so powerful, but +2 Carapace wasn't done yet. So that meant that this army could fight just a little bit better. Widowmines, big shots here on the Lings as well. So now it's really only the Hydras, but Clem has to kite backwards. Banelings force him back. And this was so close. Clem was so close to shoving through, and now the upgrades are here. +2 attack is done in 5 seconds. +2 armor done in 10. And Clem continues to bring this army forward. 5th base now on the way. Those overlords somehow unpunished. But now, let's see what Clem can make happen. He's up 30-odd army supply. Upgrades done. +3 attack on the way. Adrenal done here. So that even that upgrades, the upgrade parity here isn't even a true upgrade parity. And Ling's on the counterattack. They're looking for more. They're thinking about that wide open 3rd base, trying to hit the timing right as Clem engages into Dark, and Dark has it timed out perfectly. But there are reinforcements there, and it's not going to find what it wants. Not yet. Now, Banelings will get a connection as Clem stays off creep for the time being. But he's just about maxed out. Ling's on the counterattack here, looking for the surround. Widowmines, actually pretty significant friendly fire, but it's not enough to kill anything just yet. Dark thinks about moving down, but it's a little bit disjointed. That's a lot of Hydras that are going to fall down here, and all of a sudden, the Liberators, they can siege up once again. Clem up 50 supply in the blink of an eye. Banelings go down, and the Marauders, the wall, they're going to be okay. They're going to back up just a little bit more, so let's see what Clem can do. Banelings on the front, they're getting targeted down. There's just not enough of them here. Dark on 17 Hydras, 1 Bane, trying to make something happen, buying time, and actually medevac falls. That's nice, but now the Liberators here, even better. Friendly fire from the Overseers force the friendly fire there. Tons of damage, and now Clem has to back up. Liberators fall. Widowmines, well, they're going to get split pretty well against, and Clem, it felt like he had a winning opportunity. He felt like he had a winning position, but it's just not enough. It was not there just yet, and Clem, his +3 armor is not even started yet. +3 attack, only halfway done. Upgrades again, massive deal. And even with this supply lead, Clem can't bring it all together. This is Gresfon. It takes a while. So Dark holds on. And the supplies, they are, despite that upgrade lead, they are very far. They are very close. And this Liberator is just not going to do enough here. So Dark, 85 workers. Clem, 67. But he does have 5 bases. And we should start to see some extra orbitals go down eventually. If Clem once Clem maxes out again. Clem, he really has pulled him beyond. As nice response there on the Widowmine drop. It's just gonna be a couple Lings, nothing more. And there's armor. Okay, so at least Clem is remembering. Here's the important thing, though. Dark has been under heavy threat for the majority of this game. There is no Lurker Den. There's no Ultra Cavern. Lurker Den only just now getting started. So Clem's got Ghost Academy already ready. Like, he is prepared for the transition if he needs to. But for now, he's going to stay on pure bio. Ghosts against Lingbane Hydra, not incredible. They're decent, right? You know, Hydras, you can kill them for the most part. Widowmine, solid shot here. As the pressure on the right side, Widowmine's, they're going to have to burr up just a little bit more with Drilling Claws. That should keep things safe. So, yeah, there we go. Dark fended back, and now both players, functionally, they're maxed out. I see some ghosts get it. Yeah, one ghost added in. Just a little bit of extra DPS, I guess. +3 attack going to be done very, very soon as the bio splits back up. Army down the ramp here. Dark, he's got a lot of army on the left side, though. And Clem, he's got to be careful. He wants to get aggressive, but he just can't because he's got to be defensive as well. And now this army just comes flooding through into the middle of the map. That's a massive Widowmine shot on the backside. And it actually stays alive, so we can see how many it killed. 20 kills on that Widowmine is just incredible here. Now, kiting backwards, the Ghost has to stay alive. Widowmines, friendly fire there on the Overseers. Even more, it's explosions, fireworks, but the Ghost stays alive. And downtown Widowmines get oh so very much. But it's so much worse for Clem than it is for Dark. Dark's maxed out again immediately. Clem, 160 supply, despite the fact that he's on 5 bases, despite the fact that his economy, for the most part, is going fine. But that upgrade timing really hurt Clem there. If he's got upgrades equal with the Zerg, he probably pushes through into the third base position. It felt like he was going to be able to make it happen, and it's just not enough. And now Dark is just really ratting things out here. Lurker burrow speed, adaptive talons, just about done. 3-3 on the melee, 2-3 on the ranged attacks, and now 10 Lurkers are on the way. We're looking at 3 ghosts. That's just not enough here. But Clem can't afford it anymore. He's only 1,000 gas a minute. He's kind of in the doldrums of his supply as he's trying to remax out again, and it multi-drops. Right, that's going to be a solution. But Clem, actually, this is a nice little drop here. Does have to be careful, right? With armor, not done yet. With +3, not just done. But he gets 6 workers. He gets a solid scout. I think actually Liberator got half of those, but even still. But Clem is starting to establish his position on the map again. I can't believe that Liberator had position. I really thought the Spore had range. This should do it, but still, 10 workers dead. Nice job there. Clem taking the worker lead. You got to be so careful. Ghost drop the snipes, and that's going to be 1 dead Lurker. Clem thinking about diving on just a little bit more here. Gets on top of another, but Lurker Burrow, such a powerful upgrade. We don't have Lurker range, though. That's maybe a problem. Widowmines deal with a first round of Lings that find their way in, and it's going to have to be a wholesale lift, massive Widowmine shots. Clem kiting backwards here. A couple workers will fall, but it's not the end of the world just yet. And now, these Lurkers are, for the most part, undefended. Not a lot of Banes, and meanwhile, Clem's army on the other side kills the third. It's not as important as it once was, but it is production. It is other things. So, one could argue, Clem maybe got the better trade there. Snipes go down. A couple Lurkers continue to fall, and they just unburrow too late. So now Clem runs forward here. More snipes, more Lurkers go down, and Clem establishes better position. Doesn't even need... These Lurkers, they're exposed. Clem gets a couple more here as now Lurkers burrow up. Once again, not a lot of energy of these ghosts. Got to be careful. Widowmine does not get the Banelings. It was so available. It was, if you target that, the Banelings fall. Meanwhile, on the right side, here's, well, it's not enough. So Clem really starting to establish massive positions here. Widowmine shots as well. 9 workers go down. But Dark does not break. That was expensive from Dark there. Down 5,000 resources at this point. And Clem has his bases. Clem's got the right side of the map at this point. Dark has to, he's got to lick his wounds. He's mining 500 gas a minute. That was the important part of that base. It was not the mineral mining anymore. Really, it's only like 4 mineral patches. But it's the gas mining. It's the gas mining that has been oh so important. And now Dark, he doesn't have it. So building Banes, building +3 attack, building seismic spines is finally done. Building more Lurkers, that was expensive. I mean, his gas bank is shattered here. In fact, he doesn't have much of a bank at all. So Clem... well, he's fighting his way back into this game. It was looking dire when Clem couldn't push through, and the upgrade timing was just not there. Now it feels like he's starting to find his way back into it. He's gonna find. I mean, that's a big Lurker welcoming party, but there's not a lot really to buffer it. So Widowmine's left behind. Clem into the main base here, but you know, Lings are there, so that's gonna do that for the time being. And I feel like we just got to strap in here. This game's going late. +1 mech attack on the way for Clem. 4 ghosts. However many command centers. The 2 more command centers. He's got an extra planetary being taken. Stims on top, gets some creep, but obviously you can't sustain. You can't fight into +3 lurkers for all that long. So, gets something. Trades out some of his army because he does want tanks. He does want ghosts. He wants to effectively get into ghost mech. Right, that is the ultimate late game. You get a couple Thors eventually, maybe. You get some Hellbats for the Lings, +3 Blue Flame Hellbats. I mean, Lings die in one shot. And then you have Ghosts behind to deal with the lurkers and deal with everything else. So that's kind of the ideal. It's still expensive. It's still going to take a while for Clem to get there, but he's starting to fight his way. He's starting to get there. And if that is Clem's goal, and again, he may just choose to play bio and play a more flexible style of play on the map a little bit more. I would like to see. Well, sorry. If he is choosing to play the ghost mech idea, I would love to see a second armory. But instead, is this a battlecruiser transition? It's probably just for lip range, but this is a battlecruiser transition. I'm going to be very happy. Even still, fusion core on the way. Second starport getting at it. Feasibly, this could be. This could be for a couple Ravens. This is something Dark has started to do in the late game. It's easier to see. It's easier to see the lurkers. It's easier to see the burrowed things. We got a big fight coming on in, and this orbital is just going to go down to the bailing shots, planetary as well. So the base goes down. But make no mistake about it. That's 1,000 mineral, 1,000 resources. Clem lost. Okay, give or take. That was expensive from Dark as well. That was a lot of Lings, a lot of Banes finding their way in. But Clem does have to deal with this Nidus going down in the main, and it pops up anyways. But there's just, well, actually there are a decent amount of Lings in here, but the drop is going to be able to deal with this thing for the most part. There are a ton of ghosts. So Snipe's going to go down. It's not even targeted. There we go. Snipe. Yeah. Even with Adrenal, this is not going to get all that much, but it's cracked open another base here. Dark on the multitask is just beautiful, man. And yes, Clem has another base that he can use to take that, but he's just lost 2 bases in the blink of an eye. And he's not dealing with that big. In fairness, neither is Dark. He's got 1,300. He's got 4,000 minerals, but it's the gas that matters. Big Widow Mine gets oh man, it just gets like half the banelings here. But Clem is just. It feels like Dark is playing too fast. It is kind of what we're looking at right now. 12 workers go down. Dark is just finding positions that Clem is just not in a good position to deal with. It's just all of a sudden, Clem is just a step too slow. Now, these snipes are nice, and these lurkers will all die very quickly here. That's a big deal. That is a lot of lurkers going down. That's a lot of freedom on the map that Clem has suddenly built for himself. But the Nidus, okay, Nidus in the main base was dealt with. So Clem is starting to stabilize a little bit, even as more, Ling run-bys happen here. It's going to be forced another lift, but there are still plenty of ghosts. They 2-shot Lings. This is going to be fine. The big deal is that Dark is starting to take a base from Clem. Actually, I guess this is technically Dark's base, and Dark was not successful in taking this base yet. So we're not at the point. Actually, I should say that's a better way to say it. We're not at the point where Dark is able to take a base from Clem just yet, and Clem is now maxed out. He's, close enough. And the big deal is, again, Dark's got 2,500 minerals in the bank. That's great. His gas count is non-existent. He's got 3 lurkers, 7 banes, 4 hydras. He's mining less than 1,000 gas a minute. I mean, that's the big deal here. He's relying on just massling bane, couple lurkers for a little bit extra, adding in pathogen glands as well for, actually, pathogen glands are really, Dark's ability with infestors is probably the best in the world. And I don't say that lightly. Dark's ability to go and get a neural on, and not just neural to EMP ghosts. I mean, Cyril does that too, but neural a bunch of tanks to friendly fire, neural a bunch of Widow Mine stuff. Like, Dark is so creative with his ghost, with his neural play, and it's so much fun to watch. But Nidus attempted in the main base, won't really happen. Once again, massive flood of Lings here, and it feels like we're lacking splash damage. Friendly fire on the Widow Mines, but gets a lot of Lings as well as the lurkers look to burrow forward. Second line of tanks getting more, and the Lings continue to flood here, but it's just not cost effective at all. This base will go down. But that is so many dead Lings. That's a ridiculous amount of dead Lings, actually. And the lurkers on the backside will fall as well to the Liberators, and all of a sudden, this is feeling pretty good. Another lurker attempted in the main base. Clem? Yeah, he's dealing with that. Okay, so that lurker doesn't get all that much done. And even as Dark tries to take the bottom side base, oh, well, yeah, that's awkward. We got a Storm Host on the way. A little bit unfortunate. The base will fall, and I mean, this Lurker Hydra pressure is nice. It means Liberators are going down, and that is obnoxious. Clem's kind of a little bit on this island, but the Ghosts return home, and Clem's able to stabilize. He's able to max out once again as I mean, this is the true tug of war that is Gressfawn. This is such a cool game. Every move that Dark makes, Clem answers somewhere else. Every move that Dark makes, Clem answers as well. So Clem's going to get another base. Dark's not going to extract any minerals out of this one whatsoever, not in any meaningful fashion. And now Clem's up 1,400 resources. He's got nukes on the way, adding in more Liberators, +3 armor. And as he's committed so hard to these Liberators and Liberator range, I would love to see air attack on the way. Get these into +3 Liberators, like really give them the power that they desire. But I mean, no one's got a bank. Dark briefly had a massive mineral bank, but that's gone now. Clem starting to build up a little bit of a bank. I mean, this is not a game where they've been trading this entire time. Transitions are hard. But now the Infestors are popping out. 4 of them. They have Burrow. Dark got that 15 minutes ago. No Neural, though. That's the big deal. It's all going to be about these Fungals on trapping an army, getting Lurkers on top, getting Banelings on top, something like that. So let's see what they're going to be able to do. Rocks go down, but Clem trades rocks for a base. Actually, he doesn't. He backs up. He's a little bit worried. He puts his army in a safe position because he's got to deal with this pressure back at home. Dark's just 1Aing this. His entire army's here. But you don't break that. Not at all. There are 2 Liberators. There are tanks. There are Widowmines. Ghosts are cloaked. And we are really... Oh, that's a big fungal, but you can't chain it. There's no chaining. And that's the big reveal. Now Clem knows there are Infestors on the field. He's going to be playing counter to that just a little bit more. And we're starting to see what feels like the futility of this late game Zerg versus Terran. If you're stuck on like Hydraling Lurker, adding some Banelings in as well, this Terran army outtrades. Like, eventually, this army becomes too cost-effective, and if the Zerg cannot steal a base from the Terran, it feels impossible. So Dark's going to try to move his way onto the right side. Ghosts are there, though. Liberator, one of them falls, but withering tank fire. And 3-3 now on the way. I could have sworn +3 mech armor. I guess that was canceled by the Nidus. Okay, that makes sense. So the Ghosts run forward. They'll take a bounty of Lings. That's always going to be very nice. And Dark's now broke. Broke as a joke. He's on 65 workers, but not mining all that much. Meanwhile, left side, it's just not working at all. Dark headbutts his way into a wall. And Clem just shows how solid the man is. That was looking solid for Dark for the mid game, too. Well played, Clem. He's got a date with Trigger in the finals.